All right, everybody, welcome back. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. I'm your host, Jeremiah Fox. The last portion of the show, we shot out to LA to talk to Kaylee Dream. Now we bring it back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to be joined by my friend, my old neighbor, my old jiu-jitsu training partner, Mario Quintero. He is the guitarist and lead singer for Spotlight's super awesome, hard, heavy band based in Pittsburgh now. Mario, how you doing, brother?
Good, man. How are you? So good to see
Good.
you.
You got that good audio. Damn.
Hey, man,
Of course.
I had to step it up for you.
I don't know if you were listening at the beginning, but I
I
got a
didn't,
lav
but
mic and everything.
I heard you
You're fucked
mention
up, man.
that there
Yeah,
at the end.
I was like,
Sometimes too, sometimes it's better to keep it simple.
damn, man, you sound like Joe Rogan up in the house. This is awesome.
Hey, man, I told you. It's
You
for
gotta
you.
help me out. Well, I'm on my phone. I'm actually sitting in Della,
You actually
broadcasting
sound
on
really good, and your video looks wonderful. So
well, it's that iPhone 11 Pro Max,
I
baby.
know.
That's the good stuff. Good. You think it sounds okay? The audio sounds
Yeah,
all right?
yeah.
Because
Yeah,
in the
this
cans, it's
sounds
a
great.
little weird. And I was saying we kicked out like 130 lunches this morning
Oh,
for
wow.
like homeless people and hospital workers.
That's so
And the guys
awesome,
were
man.
cleaning up in the back, and you just hear like booms clacking and like trash cans and stuff. And I was just like, I don't know about this,
It
but
happens, man. It happens.
nice. No,
It's
you
all good.
sound crisp and clean. I like. What kind of mic is that? What are you running on?
This is a short SM7.
And are
It's
you
actually
going into a board?
not a board. I mean, I have a little a Behringer XR18, which is like a
Right.
18 channel interface, and I have the preamp kind of cranked up a little bit, and
But you're not.
yeah, going
It's
straight
not.
from there
That's
to the computer.
right. But that's not like a USB mic like the podcast
No.
mics. You got
It's
the
a real deal.
legit
Yeah,
microphone. Expect nothing but the best.
yeah,
How's
man.
everything going in? Have you? Yeah, I used to go to school with this guy from Pittsburgh, and he used to call it Pittsburgh. Have you heard that?
Pittsburgh. I think I have heard
Pittsburgh,
that.
like
I didn't
old
know if that
school.
was like a thing or just like somebody's accent. You know
No,
what I mean?
I mean it's like an accent thing. But he was like, oh, "I'm from Pittsburgh," and I'm
I'm from
like,
Pittsburgh.
Where's that?" He's like, "You know, Pittsburgh." Like, I don't
You
know.
know, it's the weirdest thing. And when we moved here, I didn't realize how close Pittsburgh is to West Virginia and how much of like a southern
Oh
accent
yeah,
there that exists
yeah.
here. It's such a weird accent, like of this like Midwestern mashed up with a southern accent. It's kind of amazing.
But
Every
that's
once in a while, I hear it rubbing off.
yeah, definitely. No, I'm familiar with that as well. I used to run like when I was in college
Yeah,
touring, but also traveling, like going to see Patty as well, who was up in
right.
upstate New York. I was like cutting all through Pennsylvania, and
Oh yeah.
I was playing like the college circuit in Virginia. So it was all along 81.
Yep.
So we would like shoot up through West Virginia, and
Nice.
no offense, some strange parts.
Hey, some very I've seen some very
things
strange
happening
signs in in West Virginia, but luckily, like once you get into Pittsburgh, especially where we're at, it's really cool and like good, chill neighborhood, good people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a good move for you. You guys moved what? It's been less than a year, right?
No, actually, it's been like a year and a half now. We
Get the
moved
fuck out of here.
December 2019, so
Really?
yeah, pretty
Wow.
crazy, huh? It doesn't feel like it, man. It feels
No,
like
no.
6 months to me, but yeah,
Yeah, same.
it's flown
And
by.
you were in New York for like 10 years or something like that, close
No,
to?
half that. I was there for
Oh,
about
okay.
five, a little over five.
But
Um,
you got a great meandering story, like from Miami, went to Berkeley,
all
San
over.
Diego, but like other stops along the way.
You nailed it. No, I mean for me that was pretty much it. So I grew up in
Okay.
Miami, then I went to school in Boston when I was like 21. Moved there, lived there for about 5 years, then went back to Miami for a short period of time, and then moved to San Diego for 10 years, and then
Gotcha.
from there to New York. That's where I met Sarah, was in San Diego, and then we
Right.
moved to New
She's
York
from
from
San
there.
Diego.
No, she's been more places than I have. She grew up in
Oh.
Chicago, and
Ah,
then basically lived all up and down the West Coast from like Portland all the way down to San Diego, and then and then we met there and moved to New York.
and Sarah is the bass player in Spotlights and like
Correct.
badass. She's like
Hell
110
yeah.
pounds, but plays like 350. You're just like, holy shit, all that
I know.
sound is
I know.
coming. I remember the first time, just like so Mari and I used to share a rehearsal space here in Brooklyn. And
Yep.
I remember coming down the steps and hearing this fucking sound and being like, holy shit. And I opened the door and there she is just like banging it out. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how is
Just like,
all
hi.
that sound coming out of such a small package? But
I know, man.
yeah,
That's why I had to marry
phenomenal.
her, because
I
You know,
got you,
she's
man.
my
I get
favorite
it.
bass
I
player.
get it. I get it. My wife is pretty loud too. She doesn't play
Yeah.
bass. And so you guys are here in New York and like very active touring. Spotlights is on the road like a solid three to
Yeah.
6 months out of the year, right?
Yeah, basically, man. I mean, it's varied throughout the years, but like things happen really fast for us. When we moved to New York, that was 2013. We Spotlights was just kind of like an idea, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
We had written one song, and we always wanted to do more with it, but we were playing in another band at the time. So when we finally moved to New York, and that's kind of why we went there. For me, it was more like an engineering purpose. I really wanted to like
Right.
see if I could expand on that, and San Diego just, for me personally, had kind of like a ceiling where I couldn't go anywhere else. I owned my own studio. I was freelancing. I did everything that I thought I could, and was just kind of not going anywhere. So we
Yeah.
figured New York was a good move, and it really was. Like within a year and a half, we were had Spotlights up and running, and we're on tour with, well, maybe 2 years. We were on tour with Deftones for our first U.S. tour with that band.
That's remarkable.
So
And
it
so,
was pretty
and you guys
crazy.
just opened up for the reunion of Mr. Bungle
Yeah,
here
yeah.
in Brook. Did you guys just opened up
It was just
in
a Brooklyn show.
just the Brooklyn show,
Yeah,
not the West Coast shows. And I was at that show at Brooklyn Steel. My
oh
ears are
yeah,
still ringing. That was just
that
like
was crazy, man. That was
that
so
was like,
surreal because like
yeah,
Mr. Bungle, it just took me back to like, I mean, literally being 15 years old.
yeah,
16 years old.
with Dave Lombardo and Scotty in too. I was just
Yeah, and
like,
that
is
too on
this?
top of it.
And those
Incredible.
guys
Oh my
just
God, just
rock. They rock like
shred.
20-year-olds still, and they're like
Seriously,
they're like
you
pushing
play for 2 hours
60.
like that, I'd
It's just
fall
like
apart.
Scotty Ian just smiled the whole time, and I was
Uh-huh.
just like, I'm fatigued. How are you not? Yeah, that was
I
fantastic.
know,
And
man.
and you guys are slated to go on tour with Fake No More later
Correct.
this year,
Yeah, it
correct?
was a tour with Korn and Faith No More that we got
God
added
damn.
to. Another crazy tour that we didn't think we were gonna get, and we got. And unfortunately, with the virus, I think things might get postponed. It's not 100% sure yet, so I can't like confirm that.
Right.
People, I think they're kind of holding out hope that maybe there's something that can happen. But these are like arena shows, so
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
Could be tough.
you know.
You guys are gonna do like Major League Baseball, and it's just gonna be you. It's like all the music
Yeah.
videos from the 1980s. Like they were
Yep.
they were
Just
playing
in
in
a room
like
with
empty
nobody there.
arenas, and like you guys will just broadcast, and everybody will watch from home. And
I know. Hopefully. I mean, I don't know. I see it from a year from now. People forget pretty quickly, man. I mean, I hope they don't.
yeah,
I really hope we all remember what happened here and like, you know, just keep that in mind as we go forward. But like, I think things will change sooner than we think.
yeah,
I'm kind of a hopeful guy and I'm
same
an
here.
optimist usually at heart, but I, I just don't see it being as crazy as some people make it out to be, and like the music industry's over and this and that, and like
Right.
even though we're being hit really hard because you know we make about 60% of our income from touring.
Mm.
uh, Luckily that 60% is not a lot, and we're able to kind of make that up with our other jobs or doing whatever, me being a recording engineer. But like and that's another thing is like growing up doing this, we all know how to kind of live tight,
Right.
and how to, we're used to this,
I
and
was
staying.
just saying that, yeah,
Yeah.
in the last segment. It's just like for me being a freelancer for a while and then opening a restaurant, it's like
Oh
I've just
dude,
been
yeah,
behind the 8 ball the whole time. I've
you've
just
been catching up
never,
forever.
yeah, but it's great because like if I ever hit my stride, it's going to be amazing because
I
I know how to
know.
live like off of ramen. Just like no, it's okay,
Exactly.
we're fine, we're
I
totally
think
fine.
it gives you a good perspective on life, man. Like success and happiness for me, I think is different than it is for a lot of people, and for you too, because like I feel like we've experienced it at this level of. I'm not going to say we've ever been struggling, because real struggle can be
Yeah,
a lot tougher than what we've done.
right.
But like it is hard, you know what I mean? And it's when you're trying to do something you really love and you really care about, and you kind of don't back down from it just because you're broke, or just because you can't pay the bills for a month or whatever. It's like you keep trucking along, and
Right. And
you
not
know
having that like corporate backing where like a lot of
Exactly.
people, they have like, oh, there's just like this trampoline I can fall on and I'll bounce back up. And we're like looking down, it's like, damn, that's hard ground down there. But you and I know how to break fall.
Exactly. Yeah. I already knew how to break fall before I started training.
Okay, right, exactly. So Mario and I did jujitsu together before he moved to Pittsburgh, and one of the main reasons you moved to Pittsburgh was because you guys were on the road so much.
Yep.
One, it was just more central to where you guys were doing a lot of U.S., but also you guys are like in the Balkans, right?
Yeah.
And
Dude,
like, and
well,
like,
with this band, so we've only done one European tour, and it was out there, man. I mean, we got all the way like to like Slovakia and Romania
yeah,
and played all those countries.
and they
And
loved you guys, right? They seemed
oh
like so
man,
pumped about you guys.
some of those shows were incredible. Those were some of the best shows. Even like I always tell a story. Like my favorite show of that tour was this tiny little town called Chetka in Slovakia, and we show up, tiny little coffee shop, like maybe 50 people can fit in there, and speakers on sticks, no like real PA or anything. We had
Yeah,
to do it all ourselves. So we were like, oh man, this is gonna be terrible. And all of a sudden, it just filled up because there wasn't a person on the street when we drove up. And out of nowhere, this place gets packed, and people were like, not stage diving because there was no stage, but
right.
like crowd surfing and like just right up on top of us, and
That's
it
so
was just
dope.
so much fun, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Very cool.
cool
So
stuff.
you guys moved, you became more central, but also bills became a little less because we all know New York is expensive as fuck.
Yeah,
And
man, it was
that's
just
like,
killing us.
yeah,
Like especially like jiu-jitsu was one of the hardest things I had to let go, just because when we came back from that tour, that as good as that tour was, we didn't make any money. We ended up kind of losing money,
hmm
and just because mistakes were made by different parties that just didn't make sense and whatever. So,
yeah, yeah.
anyways, I came back and there was no way, like there was no credit card that was gonna take those 200 whatever dollars
Cover
a month.
jujitsu, right?
So I had to prioritize, and that sucked. And then everything just kind of was coming down at that point. And we really had we kind of looked around, and there was really no reason to have to be in New York anymore.
Right.
Like when we first moved there, it was incredible because we met all these new friends. We we started playing all these good shows, and things just kind of like blossomed as soon as we got there. But it hit a point where it just kind of leveled out, and so any tough times were just knocking us down and knocking us down. And,
Right. There's a point of diminishing return with all that, right?
living in Flatbush in that fourth floor walk up was just every day I'd get home and look at those stairs and be like, God damn it, man, I'm just
Do I have to do this again? And you go back to the dojo and do more class.
yeah, exactly.
Go train more.
Exactly.
Have you trained at all since you moved to Pittsburgh?
Yeah, so I did. It took me a little
Good.
bit to kind of get caught up till where I could, but once things leveled out, I started training at this place called Stout. It's a Henzo affiliated gym,
Mhm.
and
Nice.
it's awesome, man. It's huge. It's crazy especially coming from Sun Dojo, like just New York in general. But this
Everything's
place is,
small.
like, gigantic,
Yeah.
but really cool guys, great teachers. I've unfortunately, kind of like it was in New York, it's been sporadic just because we're always in and out.
Yeah, yeah.
And I once again popped another rib and had to take a couple weeks off, and then we went on
Boy.
tour, and it was a couple weeks off, and then we came.
I've been there. I know that.
So still a blue belt, which I'm totally fine with. I'd be fine
Yeah.
with being a white belt. I don't care.
Right, exactly. Just training. That's the most important part. I don't even
But
care. I don't
it's
even care.
been it's been good. I've been bummed not to be able to train at all
Yeah. Oh,
through this whole thing.
man. We got to give. Yeah. I'll save the shout out because we're gonna take a little break. If we speak about Mike right now, we'll never take a break.
Right.
So when we come back, we're gonna talk about Mario's husband.
Yeah.
All
My
right.
husband, 25 years.
Right? Oh my God. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back in just a minute, everybody. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web.